Nancy William.
Hi.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I forgot we were going to do the curtain. You're going to walk through the...
I can still walk through,
No,
but then I have to undo all this.
I know.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Welcome to Brick by Brick. I'm Brad Critchfield and Nancy William. Not Nancy Williams.
No,
Not at all.
don't get confused.
But you are going to change your name to Williams for tennis, though.
Yeah, the girls are starting to play tennis. Their coach says that they're amazing.
Right?
So,
They're like, if only there was an S.
right. So, Daniel's on board. He
Yeah.
says, we'll just change our name and make it Williams.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
Because Critchfield doesn't go too far.
No.
Especially when you're missing letters.
Right.
So,
I'm happy you said that because I'm like reading your name and then
oh, really?
I'm like, where's...
Yeah.
Okay. But
So
thanks for saying that.
it's like a Scot-Irish like immigrant story.
Okay.
You know, they like when they came in, they were like, "Well, that sounds really Scottish. I don't know if we're gonna hire you."
Yeah.
It's like Critchfield. I honestly, that's just something I read. I don't even know if it's true.
Well,
to be honest.
at least it has a story.
Yeah. So Nancy William,
Yeah.
owner of Lakewood Smiles.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're
That's good.
you're much more than that.
Thanks.
But that's just the first thing. But yeah, you're also a mother and a Lakewoodian, and you're always so engaged in the community. And you've done a lot, and you've been through a lot lately with the business. And I know that's a whole mess, and we don't have to get into that too much. But how have you been lately, and how are you kind of moving forward from all of this?
Yeah. So I've been good. You know, we were closed for 2 months, which is a long time. You know, I was open for emergencies, but, you know, we couldn't really do a whole lot because with our treatment, we produce aerosols. So that's very risky for us, you know, clinicians and for the patient. So we had to be real careful with that. So we were advised not to do any treatment that produced aerosols. So I just did a lot of teledentistry, you know, basically just answered a lot of phone calls and kind of triaged and, you know, called in a lot of antibiotics. But patients called back like 3 weeks later with the same issue. So it was tough. I felt bad for people. I was like, you know, people are like, I broke a tooth. And I'm like, yeah. So
You're like, so
I know
don't do that again.
So that's a big deal. I know
Yeah.
that's your emergency, but
Yeah. Have you ever broken a tooth? It's a long day.
I have
That's
not.
That's a long day.
Yeah.
I was driving by Seal Beach the other day, and I was telling Mandy a story about when I broke my tooth, and it was on like a Dorito 3D. Like Doritos had like these like 3D chips for a little bit, and I remember like sitting there, it was like in a dark car. And I remember like telling the people in the car, it was like college, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I broke my tooth. And they're like, Brad, you're just paranoid. I'm like, no, I'm pretty, turn on the light. They turn on the light. And I just remember the look on their face because like it was like my molar.
Oh, God.
And it was just like, it was pretty bad. So that's a long day. That's a long day.
Yeah. So I feel really bad that like I couldn't do a whole lot. But we're back now. I'm happy to be back. We've been back for a week. And things are going well. Patients are happy to be in. And it's almost like they're taking it a little more seriously now. You know, when we say that there's an issue, it's like, yeah, I want to get that taken care of. Whereas before, they're like, yeah, I'll just come in whenever. And I noticed a lot of the phone calls I was taking, I'd ask, like, is this something that just happened? And a lot of people would say, actually, no, I've known about this for a long time. And now it's just really blown up. And
So,
yeah.
I 100% agree. I think this really kind of makes people appreciate the services that maybe they took for granted before. And it does make you really think. My dad owns a barbershop like a block away from where you're at, because you're on Clark and Candlewood there.
Yep.
He's on Bellflower and Delamo. And he was just talking about like, oh, now everybody wants a haircut. Like, oh, now, you know, like it makes you realize. I mean, have you ever heard people talk about haircuts like they do now?
No.
Now all of a sudden everyone cares. But same thing with dentistry. These things that you take for granted, like you can just go in any time. But now it's like, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So now like your health is really important. and everything that has to do with your health.
Makes me want to open up a gym or something. Just kidding.
I
Just
heard
kidding.
that
Just kidding.
you'd actually be real good at that.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I have a little bit of experience with the gym stuff.
Yeah.
So I know we're not going to get too into that, right? But could you actually answer a question that, could you explain to me the difference between droplets and aerosol? Because we talked a couple weeks ago, and you were kind of telling me a little bit about it, and I realized I don't know. Like, I really don't.
Yeah, so basically it just has to do with size. Like a droplet is bigger than an aerosol.
That much I understood.
Yeah.
but like the namings of, is it like, are they saying like what is the actual difference?
So so essentially it is size that
That's
makes them
okay.
different. And so what we don't really know is the viral load like in an aerosol. So is it still in the aerosol? How much of it is in there? Is it like more watered down when it comes out? So there's a lot of that we don't know. And I think that there was talk about the CDC using the word droplet and aerosol almost like interchangeably.
Yeah.
And that can get confusing. I think they're using the word droplet a lot more now.
Right.
Which makes sense.
Because now they're talking more about like cloth masks are fine,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you don't need all this other stuff. But before it was like they were saying you needed like a hazmat suit.
Yeah.
And but when people are saying aerosol now, it's like, well, you're wearing a cloth mask. Like I don't, like I'm no expert on any of that stuff, but I just feel like that there's definitely like for the amount of information like that goes out, it's like if we can just cover the basics for people, like how many like PSAs and like just like, politicians going out to like tell people like what they need to, what they want them to hear, rather than just like informing like, okay, no, this is like the basics. And and it's kind of like the approach I took like when I would do like nutrition seminars. It's like, no, I want to teach you what glycemic index is. I want to teach you like the basics so you can develop your own opinion, rather than just telling me.
Right. I think that's really important in this situation here. Just the basics, like how, understanding how is the virus transmitted, like it doesn't shed off your skin,
and now they're saying it's like not even
doesn't linger on surfaces and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out, and I think more stuff is going to come out showing that it's maybe not as bad as we thought. So hopefully right? I'm hoping, but there are some in some countries where dentistry didn't shut down at all, and we didn't see a spike in cases in like dental personnel or anything like that. So that's very promising. That made me feel comfortable to go to work. But you're still, we'll hop off the subject because I know we're not going to talk too much, because I know that's a runaway train, right? That's okay. That's okay. I'm entrenched in it, so it's okay.
I know. But you are moving forward. You're opening up. People have been appreciative and receptive.
Oh yeah.
What are just a couple of like the changes you see going forward? Not just like right now, like while they're like moving the goalposts everywhere. But like just like you could see going forward, this is probably a change that will be ongoing, despite how the narrative changes.
In dentistry?
Specifically to what you're doing,
I don't know that we'll always be taking temperatures,
So you're doing that now?
We're taking temperatures before patients even walk in through our doors.
Okay.
They're using the back door, and then a staff member.
How do they do it?
The temperature?
Yeah.
Touchless.
Yeah. So it's like
Thermometer.
the forehead one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite press conference so far was when Trump was like, it's amazing what they're doing. Like, I've learned so much. I saw them take a temperature. They didn't even have to. They were just like back here, and they took the so I've learned a whole bunch throughout this whole thing. And I just like, I thought it was like, honestly, it was adorable.
I was messing with my team like a couple weeks ago before we opened, and I was telling them, I'm getting thermometers, and then I sent them this picture of like how I couldn't find thermometers. But
so you're getting the
I was getting the rectal.
Yeah.
And I was like, sorry for whoever has to do it.
Anything to help business,
We got to open.
Hey, got to open. It's no pun intended.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we take temperatures. I don't know how long that'll stick around for.
Realistically.
Realistically.
To me, that always seemed kind of silly to me, because it's like 3 Tylenol and you're like, you really want to go somewhere, just take a few Tylenol and you're
So
good.
true.
Right?
Yeah. But no one really wants to come to the dentist.
True. True.
I mean, that's what they tell me
Yeah.
all day.
You know what I miss? I remember when I used to fake being sick when I was a younger lad. Like they used to give those little sticks and like you'd put it under your tongue and like you'd have to like sit there and like wait and like still
Yeah.
pretend to be sick while
Yeah.
the nurse kind of like checked you out.
Yeah.
And like I remember like we'd always, like me and the other kids, we'd always talk about like how to beat it, and we'd put like a penny under our tongue and do always. I don't know if did that ever work? Probably just some older kid making me eat a penny. I don't know.
I've never heard about the penny.
I have a lot to reflect on now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard about
But like there's like I remember like maybe if I press down really hard on it and like try to make it, I don't know. Those sticks are cool.
Yeah?
Should bring them back.
I don't know that I ever did that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well then everything I said
Just,
sounds
yeah.
kind of weird now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So okay, temperatures. But
Yeah.
everything else pretty much.
Everything else is pretty good. I mean, probably going to stay. I don't know that we're going to need to wear respirators. Maybe we will for the future. I hope not. They're really heavy. We wear the big like P100 masks.
You wear those the whole time?
I wear that every time
Oh,
I'm drilling. And our hygienists wear it every time they're using the ultrasonic scaler.
Yeah.
And they're heavy. It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I mean, I've been wearing it for almost a year now, actually, because I got into removing the silver mercury fillings in a safe way because I realized I was breathing in all that mercury when I drilled it.
Yeah.
Because when you drill the filling, that's when all that mercury is released. And I was already dealing with like brain fog and like just all this stuff and not feeling good. So I was like, I gotta change something. This is my career, and I can't be exposed to this stuff for my
Yeah.
whole career. So I started wearing those masks to help the carbon filter to help filter out some of that mercury. So I'm used to wearing that mask now, but my staff isn't.
That must be really.
It's hard
trying.
on them. Yeah.
Like I have a hard enough time wearing just like a crochet mask.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Yeah, no, it's uncomfortable. I asked the media girls, like, do you guys want to wear this big like Darth Vader thing? And they're like, no.
No, maybe
So
for
I
like
got
a
them,
second.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
got them these like small carbon filter masks to wear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Gotcha.
now they can't do that. They have to wear like respirators.
Really?
Yeah. It's no fun.
So you think that'll stay for a while?
We'll see. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
We'll see what they say.
So what about home? So you're a mother. You've been
I
home
am.
with your kids.
Yeah.
Are they both still around?
Thank God they're both
you have,
still
you have,
around.
you have two, right?
I have two girls. One is 8.5. One is 6.
Yeah.
And
It's a good age difference. That's like kind of Tori and Brooklyn.
yeah.
That's kind of
Yeah. Yeah, it worked out well, age difference wise. They're doing well. Obviously the older one misses her friends a lot. So we're doing a lot of
Yeah.
FaceTimes.
It's
and
sad,
stuff.
right?
It's so sad.
Tori cries a lot, like about her friends, and
Yeah.
it's so hard. So how have you talked to your kids? Because they're a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
They can kind of like digest a little bit what's going on. Tori, I just lied to her and it works. It's like the new Santa Claus. Like COVID's the new Santa Claus.
Yeah.
No, I just tell her it's flu season, so we're staying home.
No, they know about the coronavirus. Like they started using that word before school ever let out. And
Yeah.
she's like, the coronavirus. So anytime I try and kiss my little one, she goes, no, corona.
Really?
And I'm like,
Isn't that a song? Is that
no
a song?
corona.
No corona. I don't know. There's a
It's
song. There.
very fitting for
Yeah.
the times.
I'm gonna find what song I'm talking about because it sounds just like that.
Yeah.
So you really haven't had to. That's a great thing about kids these days. They can just Google it. They don't even need to ask their parents anything.
Yeah, I feel like they just like knew. And I try to like play things down for them. Like, oh, it's like not a big deal, but like, I keep them inside. I don't take them to the grocery store or anything. We go to fields, open fields and stuff, and we go on a lot of walks. I don't make them wear masks when we go on a walk, though. Just
Yeah.
figure they need air.
Yeah, I don't think.
Our streets aren't too busy.
Yeah, I don't think that's a whole another rabbit hole. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, for safety wise, I mean, when
if
we
I'm
see
around people,
yeah, when we see people coming, we
and I
just
ask,
move.
I ask, and
Yeah.
I think it really does come to like, do you trust yourself? Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty darn good. Like even before you got here, I disinfected everything.
Mhm.
I put up on the wall a disinfectant station before you even walk into the patio.
Nice.
I have a whole thing of white. Like, I'm not overly, but enough to where I know I'm doing what's in my power
Yeah.
to be responsible. And but people that don't know me, like,
Mm-hmm.
it may not have that. I think that's where it comes down to trust, right? Like, I would trust, even if somebody's not going crazy about it, that they're at least, stepping up a little bit,
Right.
like just general hygiene, just kind of making sure,
Yeah. I think everyone's really mindful these days.
I think
Like
so.
mindful of everything. Like,
And
if I have like a little sniff, like if I had like a little sore throat today or like a little
yeah,
cough, I wouldn't have come.
right,
You know.
right.
So I
You
think
wouldn't
every.
have.
No, you wouldn't want me here this close to you, coughing all over you.
I said I disinfected. I know that's not how it works, though. No. I think you're like, this is really giving. Okay, I mean, choose my words carefully. It's taking away a lot of freedom, but it really is giving back a lot of responsibility,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, and that is an argument of saying, like, freedom, and this is, you could argue this either way, but freedom is earned, right? And the more responsible we are, and the more, like, the more freedoms we get. I'm such a contrarian in my own brain. Like, my brain is arguing with me, like, as I'm talking. It's terrible. Anyway, it puts the responsibility back on us individuals, and then it also gives us freedom to choose who we interact with. Like, if, say, my dad, right, really wanted to see his grandkids, and I know he's, like, doing the stuff that he needs to do, and I know everyone's healthy, and I've done my thing. I trust the situation.
Right.
Now, if it's somebody that, like, I don't really know, and, like, I don't know if they were at, a party the night before, or if they
Yeah.
did, if I'm not close with that person, I'm not gonna have them over.
I agree.
So it just makes it,
Yeah.
we just have to be more diligent, and
And
yeah.
I think like it puts a lot more responsibility on us to take care of our immune systems
Hmm.
and just kind of strengthen that.
What's that?
Oh, the immune system.
That's like another word for government, right?
Right.
Right.
Right. So you want to strengthen that,
Right.
right?
So they
Yeah.
you want to strengthen. I'll just replace every time you say immune system, I'm going to say government, and then that way we know we're talking about the right thing.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there is no real like therapeutic for coronavirus, and we don't have a vaccine. So like, what do you have control over? You have control over your immune system. So like, stop eating such crappy food. I know McDonald's is open,
Yeah.
but so is the
They're
grocery
essential.
store with
It's
well,
essential.
I agree.
Yeah.
So you could go to the grocery store, get fruits and vegetables, and sit outside in the sun, get
Yeah.
vitamin D.
Yep. You could do
We're
that.
so lucky. We live in Southern California. The sun
Yeah.
shines like every day.
You can go to the beach. Well,
No, guess
you
what?
You can travel to the beach.
I went to the beach yesterday.
How dare you? How dare you?
I'm allowed to go.
No. Are you?
Yes, as long as I am active on the beach. I cannot just sit there.
Yeah.
Like, even if nobody's around me,
Mm-hmm.
the threat is real serious
Right.
on
Right.
the sand.
Right.
But-
Only on the dry sand.
Right, but as long as I'm walking past everyone
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or swimming in the like 30-foot waves that
Well,
were
that's
yesterday.
like the best thing you could do for your immune system is probably get a Costco membership. Like, once you have the card, you're immune, and then I love how
You know what I
cynical
tell
we're being.
patients? I know, this is bad. This is bad, but I tell people it's like when you have health insurance, it doesn't mean you are healthy.
Right.
It's like I have health insurance card, I am now healthy.
Right.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to use it, and you have to, like, and that's a big thing. I know we're gonna keep getting pulled a little bit, but like, yeah, like, I do think that there is a huge problem. People not going in to say get something checked out
Right.
at dentistry, or just checking out, like, maybe they're feeling fatigued and
Yeah.
haven't been feeling themselves,
Yeah.
and rather than going in and finding out that they had, like, a underlying condition that needs to be addressed, or if they maybe had a stroke and didn't know it, or a minor heart attack and that's why they've been feeling fatigued, and then
Yeah.
they diagnose something, and then all of those things aren't happening right now.
Yes, they are not happening
And
right
so
now.
people are, I almost feel like the real spike is going to be once everyone feels comfortable going back to the doctor,
Yeah.
the backlog of concerns.
Yeah. People aren't getting just regular checkups anymore. You're right. Just like all these little things, they're just going to try and manage at home so that they don't go. And like doctors' offices are closed. Like a lot of them are.
Yeah, a lot.
Or there's like telemedicine.
And telemedicine is a very poor substitute.
It's okay depending on like the specialty. I don't know when the last time I went to the doctor and they actually like felt around or anything
Yeah.
like so.
Pay extra for that.
Yeah, you do.
I made that joke to my doctor one time, and they did not think it was
I
funny.
didn't think it was
Yeah. But like I think if you have a problem, you really don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Then yeah, it's great. Or if you're just like maybe like doing a checkup where you're getting like medication refill, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of times it's like when you go to a checkup and then like the doctor's about to walk out the door and you go, Actually, I have one more question.
Yeah.
So I have this thing and I don't know, like that's when you find something, right? But you don't really have that moment in telemedicine.
Yeah,
So
because they're just trying to like get through that.
yeah,
There's not. I agree. We did a telemedicine with my daughter over the lockdown.
yeah,
It was okay.
yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of like technical difficulty in the beginning, so that was kind of annoying. But
Yeah. Hopefully a lot of that's
yeah,
being ironed out though, right?
yeah,
Because I think there is a very valid place for telemedicine.
hmm
And I think that expanding and taking off some of the regulation is good
sure,
with oversight for sure. Like I think every appointment should probably be like, I don't know, logged in a certain way
yeah,
while maintaining like privacy. But there should be some checks there.
yeah,
But hopefully like part of the training to be a physician, and it should have already probably been this way, but like bedside manner, right? Like
hmm
some doctors could use some of that training. Same thing with technology.
hmm
And that's one of the things that I do is like I'll help, staff and faculty at my job, like do better Zooms, do better
uh,
meetings, because the more efficient our communication, the
yeah,
better,
yeah,
more efficient we're going to be and
yeah,
effective. But I don't see those trainings really happening or being mandated in a way that's
hmm
really spreading. And that also goes into schooling, right?
hmm
So what have you done for schooling for your kids during this? Are they homeschooled? Are they public, private?
So they're
What
in
do you got?
private school, and I was impressed by their school. They got it together real fast. So we are Zooming 5 days a week. They're Zooming with their teachers for about like 30, 40 minutes um, every day. They're still, at least for my younger daughter, she's in kindergarten, and she's still teaching. And I love the resources they're putting out. Like they're finding where to go to for math, where to go to for science, and all the different websites. So it's pretty good. They don't spend a whole lot of time doing schoolwork.
How much?
Okay, the older one, maybe like an hour and a half
Okay.
a day of like actual schoolwork. And then the younger one, like no more than an hour. And it's like broken up. This is not an hour of like, okay, we're going to
Yeah.
sit down and do schoolwork for an hour. No chance. No.
So they are doing interactive with teacher?
With the teacher, yeah.
Yeah.
So about 4 to 5 days a week, yeah.
And that's been going pretty well? Or
It's
is it
pretty
kind of
good.
the same thing with like the technology?
No, it's
kinda-
good.
Yeah.
It's been good. And they get to see their classmates and say hi and check in with their classmates, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And the teachers have been great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with it. I hope this doesn't continue.
Right.
I mean, it's good for
What,
now.
what do you think they're missing the most? Probably the social aspect, right?
The social aspect. Yeah. And like learning too. It's not the same. Like at home, it's like so many distractions. The dog,
Mm-hmm.
the TV screen. So then you're thinking about your TV show. And then you're on
Yeah.
your iPad. And so then you go to the YouTube video that your teacher wants you to look at. But then on the side, there are all these other really cool videos.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to go to those too. And then you just end up spending so much time on your iPad.
It almost feels like they do that intentionally, huh? Like to make you click another video. Yeah, they do.
They do.
No, they're supposed to.
I know.
That's the whole idea.
Of course, that's the
Um,
point.
But do you? What do you think? Is there a place for substituting some stuff with like tele-learning? Is that what they're calling it? Is that what they're deeming it? Like,
Yeah.
do you think that should have a place in just curriculum in general, or just like, nope, once you're back, no more?
Well,
that stuff?
they've been doing it. The iPad has always been part of their curriculum, and yeah, so they do it. I think almost every day
Yeah.
for math, and I know for math and other subjects. They use the iPad almost every day. So there's a place for it. But now it's just like 99% of it. It's too much.
Now, as a mother of two,
Mm-hmm.
does that kind of get in the way of like your like say uh, handling screen time and how much they should have? Like,
Yeah, of
how
course.
where do you fall on that spectrum? I feel like that spectrum is almost as crazy as the COVID spectrum. It's like
Right?
you're either like anti screen time or like
Oh man, I'm so anti screen time. Like before COVID, the iPads were just locked up. We would take them on vacation so that they can sit on a flight. But then aside from that, they didn't have their iPads. And now, like, they're just everywhere and they just want to be on it. That's where they're zooming, that's where their assignments are. And then, like, say I have, I'm not, my work is in my office, but there's also, because I'm a business owner, so much work on the business.
mm-hmm.
And so I have to sit in my office and do work and focus and do all that. And so when I'm doing that, of course, the kids want all my attention.
Yeah, they do that. They're like
Yeah.
they know when you're
Mommy, play
trying to
with me.
focus, and it's so hard too. Like, so
Yeah.
speaking for myself, yeah, I'm working from home. I think I do it pretty well. Like, I'm very tech oriented, so like I feel like I can work here. I actually probably work better here
Yeah.
than at work, to be honest. Especially because I work so much at night and it just
Mm.
works. But psychologically, I have more guilt.
Yeah.
I may be home more, but I feel like there's more trauma to the kids knowing that dad's home and he's not playing with them, as opposed to out of sight, out of mind. Like, oh, daddy's at work. Then when I come home, it's like this. I open up the sliding glass door, and they're all just like, "Yay, daddy's home!" Like, there's like this like feeling of like, now you're home, and when you're home, I have 100% of your attention.
Yeah.
I know I'm loved. I know I'm like all these like these feelings involved in that moment of coming home.
Yeah.
That is out the window. Now it's like most of my day is telling them I can't right now. I have to lock myself in the garage just to
Yeah.
work. And even if I'm seeing them more and being with them more, I feel like it's worse for them knowing that like daddy's there, but he can't pay attention to you because he's working.
Right.
I just feel like there's probably something there.
You're right. Yeah. And then they come and, like, you'll tell them, go do something, go play, go color, go ride your bike, whatever. And then they'll
Mhm.
come like 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, God,
Yeah.
that was not enough time.
Mm-mm.
And then you have to explain it again.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to give more suggestions. And it's getting harder.
Yeah.
It is getting harder. I feel like in the beginning we had a good groove. They were a little more interested in like their school learning and things like that. They had more outside time. They were okay with it. Now they're just getting real clingy. Like, I'm there, and they just, whatever it is I'm doing, they want to be doing that.
Yeah.
So if I'm in my office doing work, they just want to be in my office.
Now, has it gotten better?
No.
Like with the time, like they're kind of like, okay, this is
No.
yeah.
Because
for
now,
us either.
no, it's not better. And the only thing that'll keep them preoccupied, like if I really need a couple hours to get something done, TV or iPad, that's what'll keep them preoccupied.
So you get really split then, because it's almost like
yeah.
that. It's almost like the screen time is necessary to maintain sanity at some point.
Oh yeah. Sucks.
But like we were talking earlier, I just feel like not the quality of what they're watching, but there's a very big difference between watching Paw Patrol's not a good example. Like one of these YouTubers that are just like it's their kids playing and stuff, and like it's cute, like like I guess, but it's not Mr. Rogers, It's not like somebody like digging into like, hey, so this is a medium where I can help you explore your feelings and be able to communicate them and find interest. It's not that.
No.
It's just, it's so far from that.
It's so far. It's like the opposite. I would love to meet one of the creators of these shows.
Mm-hmm.
I really would love to meet with them and just be like, what were you thinking?
Well, I'll tell you what they're thinking. Clicks and money. And you honestly can't blame them because people are clicking. And it's like this escapism, and like, don't get me wrong, some of them are really, really bad. Like, they're 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 brainless.
You're talking about the YouTube shows.
Right.
Oh, I'm talking about the Netflix shows.
Oh, okay. Like which ones?
So many of those cartoons are just so dark.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
haven't seen them.
Yeah, I've had to like veto so many. They're
Really?
dark and like the girls are just, I don't know, it's bad. Like so many like love interests at such a young age, and like it's not anything, no message I want to send my kids, my daughters.
What's an example? You mean like regular Netflix shows?
Cartoons. Like the kids Netflix shows.
The kid, because like I know like the adult ones are funny, but those are for adults. Like Big Mouth, that's funny.
I have not seen that.
It's terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. Kids should not watch that show. But it's like it's adult humor for sure.
Okay.
But that's on Netflix. But
No,
you
the
mean
kids stuff.
you mean like on the kids stuff?
Yeah, yeah,
Really?
the kids stuff. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think I
like
watched
My
it.
Little Pony got so dark.
Really?
There was like the dark pony.
What?
I had to veto My Little Pony like years ago.
That's a whole nother level. And you have to veto My Little Pony.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, My Little Pony, how cute. And then there's this evil pony. And it was just very like demonic. And I was like, get out of here.
Yeah.
No.
There is a lot of like the subjective themes, right? Is that the right word? Anyway, but there's also a lot of like again, this is the part where I just sound like I'm 80, right? And like I always feel like they're they don't make the shows how they used to, and all
Right.
that. Like it's not Barney,
Right.
you know, like but there's almost like stuff where there's so much talk about like sexuality and just like being very progressive when it comes to different experiences
Oh,
and
yeah.
perspectives, which is cool like on paper. It's
Sure.
great, like in I'm not saying different, but there is an element of like not in the cartoon, come on, like
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
there's a boy character, there's a girl character, and something happens, and like they learn something at the end. It's very Boy Meets World. It's like those shows, like Wonder Years, great example. Not a
Mhm.
cartoon, but still,
Yeah.
they set the scene,
Yeah.
they explain the problem, and then they show like the result of the bad decision, and then guidance or mentorship comes in, and then the situation becomes better because the kid learned from the parent, even though they thought the parent was dumb, but then they learn like, oh, the parent knows best,
Right.
and then great conclusion. Now you flip that whole thing upside down, and that's a show.
And
where
that's the show.
It's basically like the kid is right, parents don't understand,
Yeah.
that like the parents become the villain, and then
Yeah.
the show turns out that the kids taught the parent something, and now the parent feels enlightened. And it's just like I watch these shows, and I'm like, I'm open to being wrong and ignorant. Like I think that's part of the human experience. Whenever you grow older, so much of what's in your brain is from the past that you're not always here. I get that. But every show I watch is like the parents are so like depicted as dumb, and like the themes are just not
Yeah.
My Little Pony. It's just like,
This
how do you
one
mess that up?
This one show they're just so obsessed with right now, Miraculous, I think is what it is, and it's these kids in school. I don't know how old these kids are, but like they're like these secret superheroes, and they don't know that they're, I don't know. But anyways, one of the songs was like this one girl who loves this other boy, and then the whole song, like 20 times in the song, she just kept saying, and that I secretly love you, and that I secretly love you. And I'm just like, okay, my 6-year-old is watching this. What is this about? Like, what is the point of this? Yeah. It's just like too much.
Yeah.
It's not age appropriate.
It feels a little force fed.
Oh, for sure.
And like, then like the idea of like age appropriate, like that, I feel like kids are they're exposed to so much information that they're like older,
Yeah.
younger,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But without the life experience, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see
Man.
what happens.
Man, I sound like such a parent right now.
I know. Well, that's what we are.
That's true. I have to remember that.
I know.
Parent of girls too. That's a
Yeah.
whole different ballgame. I was ready to go for like a litter of boys, to be
Oh
honest.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was really rooting for boys because I grew up with six brothers, and you know, like that was comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
right? But girls is like a total, like, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's
But
mentally exhausting.
once I had Tori, I was like, okay, this is. And
Yeah.
then for the second one, I was hoping for a girl
Yeah.
because it's a totally different, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I like girls. I could totally have another girl and be okay with it. At first, I used to say no chance, but now I'm okay with it.
yeah.
Yeah. Not that I want to have
Are
another.
you having another one?
I'm
Are you
not.
gonna? No.
No. We're
Okay.
done. We got a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yes.
Yeah. So school. So their school? Is it? Are they talking about opening up, or where are they at?
It's actually interesting because yesterday I got to have a nice little, email exchange with the principal, and it was nice to hear from her and her thoughts. And she's just very much like, this is not ideal. A lot of parents have said that their kids are depressed.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than just, the virus. There's mental well-being, spiritual well-being, along with physical well-being.
I can see it in Tori, even though she can't really communicate it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's legitimately less energetic and excited about things,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess you'd call depression. Her emotions are depressed to
Yeah.
settle into the new,
Yeah.
dynamics.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the CDC put out some recommendations for what school could look like, and it didn't look nice at all.
Yeah.
It was actually really depressing. And honestly, if it's that depressing, going back, like if they have to wear masks at school, yeah, forget that. I'm going to continue to homeschool
Yeah. I feel,
and find a way to make
do you think
it.
that's going to be a big thing? Like, a
The
lot more
mask?
parents homeschool now?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because you did it, you're doing it for how many months, and you're like, well, for some families, they found a groove.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought.
Or some
Or
people
this
are
is
like waiting for, like, come on, school,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah.
school. Yeah.
I mean, I was looking forward to some summer camps. I was so sad 49er camp was canceled
What's 49er camp?
at Cal State Long Beach.
Okay.
Pretty awesome camp.
Wait, do they still call it 49er camp?
That's what it was called last year, yeah.
Well, they changed the mascot.
Yeah,
So
I
is it
don't
like
know.
Shark Camp now?
Nope, 49er camp.
Interesting. So they kept, like, 49ers, but they changed the mascot from a 49er to a shark.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they didn't change the name last year.
Yeah. Well, I know
So-
it's like the shark is like the
Yeah.
mascot now.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So 49er camp got canceled. Girl Scout camps got canceled. I just felt like all that was done so prematurely.
Yeah.
Like, we're still learning things about this, and like, y'all could have figured something out to keep the kids safe, smaller groups, all these different things.
Yeah.
And like, the camp counselors are all young. Not to say that, but I mean, it's not as risky. I don't know. I just feel like they could have figured something out. The kids have been stuck at home for 2 months. Like, put some effort in this and get the kids out of the house.
I feel like a lot of people were just kind of like, didn't really know what to make of things.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point you feel like powerless, right? So
Mhm.
like, even cities at a certain point were kind of like, well, we're kind of at the mercy of what the county does. And the county's like, well, we're kind of at the mercy of what the state does. Because any of those, and then, when you go below the city, even like the big institutions and schools are kind of like, well, we can't really, like, everyone's hands are tied because the conversation is happening at such a high level that you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess we just strap in and see where this goes. And it sucks that it's like that. But
Mhm.
I do think that now people are starting to go like, you know what, I have an opinion on this, and
Mhm.
I have I have a suggestion.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's very fair, and I think
that's okay.
I think that's what we're starting to see even
Yeah.
at the local level with Lakewood, like Mayor
Mhm.
Todd Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
He put out that video the other day. You
Yep.
saw that?
Mm-hmm.
And he basically said, I wrote to the supervisor, Janice Hahn, and told her these are the concerns, and this is where we think that we could, say, like with the mall curbside stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause the mall is very important when it comes to businesses in the community,
Yeah.
and just like malls in general and other places that are affected by rules that don't make any sense.
Rules
like-
that make no sense.
Yeah, like the curbside pickup thing is silly. And there's a lot of places that, and on my last podcast, somebody brought up like who made the list of what is considered essential and what's not, right?
Right.
And I feel like at a certain point, like we all just kind of like ate what we were fed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now we're kind of getting to the end of this, and we're like, hey, you know what? Like,
Yeah,
this is my opinion.
on the Lakewood page, someone said that they were playing baseball with their son, like in the open field,
Mm-hmm.
and like I know the playgrounds are blocked off, but then he was saying he went to go play baseball, and like more of the field was blocked off.
Mm-hmm.
And like I live over by the park by Boulevard. That's what he was talking about, Boulevard Park, and like it's empty. So like if this guy's going to play with his son, a couple times a week, like he's safe. There's no one there, and like the fact that they roped it off further, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is like how much of this is actual safety?
I don't think a lot of it is. I think a lot of it's just the. I think that the actors are predominantly good actors, right? I don't think the people are bad who are making these decisions. I just think that the decisions are happening so far away from the people that like they just don't make sense. That's why like smaller local governments should have a little bit more say.
Well, I'm happy Lakewood is trying.
Yeah, I think they are.
I think that's really
So where do you live?
Lakewood,
Oh, which area?
the country club.
Okay. So when you go outdoors, where are you going? Like what do you think is like a safe and like what's open? I don't even honestly. I stopped tracking. I was done. I'm like I don't know what's open. I don't know when it's opening. I don't know what I can do there.
Golf is open now. Tennis is open, so that was awesome. We were waiting for tennis to open up, but as of last week, you cannot play doubles. You cannot play doubles, and they removed all the benches that hold 1.5 person.
Mm-hmm.
They removed all the benches last week. Like this is the things that are like developing. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we're moving forward and then we move backwards. It's like
Yeah, I almost feel like there's a delay in like some messages where like that letter was supposed to get there here a month ago, but it got here after we're opening up.
yeah,
But there's just at the end of the day, it's all liability, right? It's all just like,
Exactly.
okay, if we do these things, like who's going to be accountable, right? So I think that's where the conversation is right now of like, okay, even as we're opening up, there's going to be a lot of like litigation and a lot of like claims, saying like you didn't do this, this, and this, and this
Yeah.
was like the mandate.
yeah,
There needs to be protection for small businesses for sure, and there needs to be some element of like there's going to be a lot of cases that are going to get a lot of national attention in the
Yeah.
very beginning,
yeah,
and because they're going to set precedent and they're going to be an example of how things could turn out if you do things this way against this way, and I guarantee there's going to be, at least a couple cases that are really going to make people go like, this is crazy. Like, I mean, already seeing it a little bit like with like certain salon owners and yeah, they're kind of doing it just like it's promotional, right?
yeah.
But I think one salon owner like had to close down for like 10 days and she got fined and it sucks and she got jailed. But then her GoFundMe reached like millions of dollars. It's just like, I don't feel so bad for you now. Like, yeah, you're a millionaire now. But
But that sucks.
it does suck.
I mean,
it sucks.
Is that setting a good example?
Wait,
like-
which part? Which part?
Like the fact that, like, what are we saying? Like that you can't work, and then like we're putting you in jail,
Mhm.
and then at the end of the day, she still comes out on top. Like
Yeah.
I don't know,
Well, I mean, it sets.
bad messages.
It's I see it more as a statement. It's like people that like raise that money, like it's a statement. Like you can't hold us down or whatever.
Which
It's fine,
is fine.
but I do like feel for people like that because I always think of like if I only had the gym,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be in a pretty tough spot right now. I could see it like, going on, especially because gyms are one of the last businesses to open.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the amount of debt, I just in the 2.5, 3 months, I accumulated like enough to where I was like, oh geez, there's,
Yeah.
15 grand that I didn't want to spend. But,
Yeah.
and then, the business shut down. So I don't have that income. Like I'm very fortunate to have other things.
Yeah.
But if that was it, if this happened 3 years ago, I would be in a really tough spot. And honestly, I'd be open right now. Like, there's no doubt in my mind at this point, if I were to do the math of like what I would need to do,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I
But I
would.
also, but I also think that like
I,
you would have figured it out. Like you
yeah,
would have figured out a way to keep your customers safe,
100%. Yeah,
your trainers safe. You would have figured it out. I think it's okay to trust the small business owners to figure out what they need to do to keep their businesses open and keep people safe. And at the end of the day, if the customer is convinced by what you're doing
right.
and they feel safe going
The
in,
free market will decide.
they
Like,
will go in. If
yeah,
I feel like, I don't know,
yeah,
touching too many things here and I'm not seeing anyone wipe things down,
right,
not sure, maybe I won't come back.
right. It sets a new playing field for competition
Mm-hmm.
in the economy. It's
Yeah.
I was already like before like the lockdown happened. I was already like figuring out like, okay, not only how can I comply,
Mm-hmm.
but how can I actually capitalize on like making people feel even more safe here and like attract more business than we ever had. Like, because I honestly feel like every tragedy or every that never waste a good tragedy line that
Mm-hmm.
becomes very popular. I believe that to a certain degree. Like, every problem is an opportunity to progress.
Sure.
And like, I was like spending a lot of time just like mapping it out, figuring out. I started making these videos. Like, these are the things that we're doing, and these are I even made a quarantine room where like this is a room for like high risk,
Sure.
higher risk. Like this, it's like a white room,
Yeah.
and like I was gonna just paint it all white and like make it look like a clean room, and like not a clean room, but like a one of those clean rooms,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and like everything is touched. Like there's an opportunity to really go above and beyond and actually make this benefit you,
Yeah.
in a very positive way.
Yeah.
But that being said, when the goalposts are moving, it's so exhausting, and
Oh,
that's
for
when I
sure.
finally threw in the towel. I was like, I've spent months problem solving on how to make this work, and finally I was like, it's exhausting
Yeah.
solving yesterday's problems,
Yeah.
because today's like it's a whole new
It's a
set
whole
of
new set. Yeah. That was the hard thing.
Yeah.
It's like dealing with all the changes.
yeah
That was tough. But
Like-
my friend's gym opened up. It's a CrossFit gym,
Mhm.
and she was telling me all the things that he is implementing, and like it's so it's so safe, safer
Yeah.
than going to Walmart. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I was just in Walmart last
Oh,
weekend.
it's so bad. I went to
I
Walmart
walked out.
on Easter.
Oh.
It
I was
was
like, whatever I need is not that essential.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk out.
yeah.
It was gross.
And again, like, if you just looking at like the science and the numbers of it all, it's like, all right, are you is exercising more beneficial,
Mm-hmm.
like percentage wise, to like put you in a different category than non people that don't exercise? I think you're at more risk, most likely, if you're going to a place that you feel confident in,
Mm-hmm.
probably at more of a risk of getting sick than if you're not going to that place and exercising. I think that there's going to be a huge health boom over the next 2 years.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's like my passion.
For the people that do make it,
Yeah.
and that can, that
Yeah.
they have the backing, that they have like,
Yeah.
they can weather the storm,
Yeah.
there will be
Yeah. I hope
a-
people start taking their health a lot more seriously, because I don't know that people realize, it's in their own hands.
Yeah.
Their health, their wellness, it's in their own hands. I think we rely so much on the pills.
yeah.
I'm just gonna eat whatever I want and then take this magic pill, and it's like it doesn't work that way. The pills are great and they're there for a reason, but it shouldn't be our safety net. It's not. And everything comes with its own set of consequences.
Hmm.
And so I think we just need to take a little more responsibility for our choices, what we put in our bodies, what we do.
Hmm.
I hope people start taking that a little more seriously, because at the end of the day, your immune system is there for a reason. I mean, honestly, our immune system is the real hero, and we need to strengthen it, feed into it, understand it, learn about it, feed it.
Yeah, I think if just the percentage wise, if you look at like your immune system's like success rate against things like this, it's pretty damn good.
It is.
I mean, as far as like fighting off viruses for 33 years, my immune system's undefeated so far. Like it's a pretty good, like it's, so for me to take it out of the game at 100%, it's like,
Yeah.
I wasn't even,
Yeah.
we didn't rack up any losses
So
yet.
hopefully preventative takes like a front seat to all this, and plays an important role, and we start hearing the right messages about preventing disease and strengthening. And there are a lot of really smart people out there that know a lot about our immune systems. They just need to start sharing their information.
Yeah. I'm definitely not one of those people. I mean, I do know enough, like when it comes to nutrition
Yeah, you
and
do.
stuff.
You wrote a book.
I wrote a
didn't you?
book. I did. But I had a smarter person like really write it. I just like,
Okay.
I did write a lot of it, but he wrote like the real sciencey stuff,
okay.
like
Okay.
I was more like the color commentator, and he, he laid down the facts and stuff.
Nice.
He was Fauci. I was Trump, right? In the book. That's a terrible example.
I don't know. Where you want to go.
Yeah, I know. I'll edit that out. But what do you think are, what are things that you do to strengthen your immune system that you think everybody should do these like 2 things?
Ooh, 2 things. Okay. One thing that I've been doing for about a year, thanks to my naturopath, is detoxing my liver.
Okay.
So I drink
Is that like a vodka thing? You just like,
tequila.
you just like disinfect it, right? Yeah.
No. It's a shake that I drink, and it is full of all these great things that naturally detox your liver. And it has decreased my brain fog that I used to have really bad. Your liver filters out all these toxins, and if it's not getting attention, then it can like backlog things.
Yeah.
So that's been awesome. So if I had to pick 2 things, I would
So you
say
drink that every day?
I drink that every day.
Okay.
So I like that. And then vitamin D3. Like if I had to pick 2 things, I would say the liver detox and the vitamin D.
The D3.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, so how much of the vitamin D3? Because I know a lot of that's not absorbed, right?
Yeah. So I know like for a lot of doctors, like, if you're up to like 30, if your numbers are up to 30, like you're okay. Yeah. But I know a lot of integrative doctors that say your range should really be in the 60 to 80.
Yeah.
So
well, that's like a huge like problem when it comes to like how we gauge health, right?
Yeah.
Because like when we look at like so it's like a big thing with like testosterone numbers, especially in men, where we look at like, well, you want to be in this range. It's like if you're at that age, right? And like, oh no, you're fine. You have enough testosterone at the, and then you're like, okay, well, what's the age range for like a healthy 20-year-old? And you're like, oh, that's like triple what I have. That's not good.
Yeah.
So like, what is considered enough compared to what is optimal or really healthy?
Right.
Because when we look at like the ranges, it's like, well, if we're taking the average of an unhealthy population and we're using that as like the standard, well, I don't want that standard. Like I don't want to be average in an unhealthy population.
Right.
I want to be above that average or average for a healthy population.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the vitamin D thing was a huge rabbit hole that like I went down when Tori was diagnosed with cancer, because there was I know a lot of really, really smart people that did a lot of research, and it was a rabbit hole. There's a lot of sleepless nights with vitamin D, a lot of stuff cancer related, and then like honestly, like at one point like sneaking in like D3 supplements into the hospital, because like it was like a big, like you don't bring somebody who's in the hospital an outside supplement, right?
Wow.
So it was they would not give her any, it was a huge issue, but I agree. There's a lot of stuff like that could really help.
Yeah. Vitamin C can really help. Okay. I'm going to go past the 2 things, but vitamin C can really help. Zinc right now is huge, for preventative elderberry. I buy like many jars at a time, and I give it to my staff.
You're a berry, hoarder.
Yes, I have a supplier in Long Beach.
Do you?
Yes, elderberry supplier.
Meet in a dark alley and get your supplements.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you take all those like just like in the morning, is that your regiment? You wake up, you take your shake and you
Yeah, so the shake, like usually, I mean, I'll take it to work. I wasn't so great about it during the lockdown. I will say that
yeah.
that was different. But usually with work, yeah, I take it every day to work. Um, and then a probiotic. I take that stuff like midday.
Yeah.
Some's with food, some is without food, fish oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that stuff is good. I feel good with it.
Yeah.
Um,
See, I get a little nauseous when I take like fish oil and a
uh,
multivitamin.
uh,
Like I get so it's like finding the timing for me is kind of rough. Like it has to be at the meal, but I stick to like a very strict nutrient timing.
okay,
That's the name of the book, right?
that's yeah.
Nutrient timing
I was like, I've
protocol.
heard that
So
before.
I still like what I wrote in the book is how I still eat and diet, and
Nice.
it works really good. I've been doing it for years, and so I basically only eat like with a window of time
Yeah.
throughout the day.
So is that like intermittent fasting?
It's the same
Same
thing.
idea?
Same
Same
idea.
thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
The only difference between like what intermittent fasting would be if you Googled it and like what like the book was about was like, okay, you're eating within this window,
Mm-hmm.
but breaking down the macronutrients of like why you should eat these macronutrients,
Yeah.
like as it relates to your activity level,
Yeah.
and like when.
So a lot more detailed within the intermittent
Yeah.
fasting.
And
I have some friends that say you can just eat anything you want. You can literally eat like 10 Big Macs
sure.
in your window.
Yeah. I mean,
and it doesn't matter. But
so it's like doesn't matter for what, like it's
yeah.
like there's so many like nuances when it comes to that. Yeah, like so for someone who's just trying to lose weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you're at a 500 calorie deficit and you're only eating within this window. Number one, the window is going to help you keep your calories down because it's just harder to pack in more calories in a short amount of time without being full at some point.
Yeah.
But if you're in a deficit and your window's small, so digestively you have plenty of energy and time to work through all the crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's kind of the thing. Like if you have a longer digestive window, then your body's gonna be able to like sort through a lot of the crap a little bit more efficiently too,
Sure.
rather than just like piling it every 3 hours. But it's not that healthy. Like that's where like in the book I talk a lot about like difference between like eating for weight loss and eating
Right.
for health.
For health.
Right.
Right.
So it's nuanced, but generally speaking, nutrient timing, it's like you can be a little bit more liberal when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to like picking what you eat, as opposed to if you were gonna eat for 16 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like right when you wake up, and you might need to be a little bit more selective of like how you're fueling your body if you want to maintain,
Sure.
as opposed to like letting your body kind of, you know, self-regulate a little bit during
Mm-hmm.
those fasting times.
Yeah.
So, and I feel great, like the brain fog stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
goes away when I'm intermittent fasting. If I honestly, I won't eat breakfast. Like I've probably eaten breakfast like legit like before say 11 in the morning, maybe like once a month maybe.
Yeah.
Like I might just like for some reason be hungry.
Yeah. I can't eat breakfast
yeah.
anymore either. It used to be my favorite meal. I
Yeah.
couldn't leave the house without breakfast, and
If
now
I do, my day is shot.
yeah, but now I'm doing coffee
Unless
with
I'm working out.
milk.
Yeah.
Like ever since quarantine, I was doing such a great job not having milk.
Yeah.
I don't like milk.
No?
I mean, I don't like it on my body. Like, I don't like what it does. So I was trying to
drink
get away.
I used to drink a lot. I don't
Yeah,
drink it very
no.
much anymore.
I tried like the oat milk and all that.
Yeah. Almond milk.
Almond milk with coffee.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But now I'm back into the coffee, and I need to get off of that.
Why? You don't like
Just
coffee?
the milk. I love coffee.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
the milk part.
Yeah. Caffeine is, and that's something I'll have in the morning. Like I'll have some caffeine.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like I will just be tired and foggy and just like not
Oh,
be
yeah.
feeling good.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Michael Segura? Mike said, I need your elderberry dealer's contact. So you could shoot it to him. It's a very top secret. Very top secret.
I'll send it to you. I have heard that, I've given her number out, and she has not been so responsive. She responds to me.
Is it hard to find?
I found her like randomly on Instagram. She makes it herself, and it's
Really?
like organic ingredients, and it's like a big mason jar, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So what are they? There's Like
It's a syrup. It's an elderberry syrup that she makes.
how do you
You
take it?
take like a tablespoon of it
Really? Just
every
eat
day.
that?
Yeah, you
Really?
just take it. Yeah.
Yeah, just for immune system.
For me, yeah, so
Really?
good.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's great in the flu season. Just take that stuff daily.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I brought it. I bought it for my staff. I gave
Interesting.
everyone got a jar. I was like,
Not Mike. Mike didn't get a jar. I know he's not staff, but
he's not staff.
I
He's
don't
not
know.
part of the team.
but
Gotta be
you
part
know,
of the team, Mike.
get with
But
it,
I will
Mike.
send you her info, and hopefully she contacts you. And if she doesn't, just say I sent you. Not that like she really knows me or we have a connection or anything.
Yeah.
But
You guys get
yeah.
special treatment.
maybe.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Why not? Why
I'll
not?
gladly take it.
So, so moving forward, why don't you say a little bit about your business and why people should come on down?
Oh, sure. So I've been a dentist for 10 years now, and I've had the practice for 9.5 years. And it's been a crazy journey. But what we're doing now is we're more focused on root cause of disease, which is something I love. If you get a cavity or break a tooth or whatever, I can fix it, no problem. But if we don't take care of why this is happening, it's just going to happen again. Treatment gets more extensive, definitely more expensive. So we can avoid all that, by looking at root cause. And root cause is just kind of my passion because I just think that that's the way medicine should be. When we're taking a look at our health, like what caused the illness, what caused the breakdown. Because when you go after the root cause, you could potentially stop the symptoms.
So it involves like a lot more of like the consultation aspect and like the
Yeah.
like kind of digging and like the
It takes a lot of time, that's for sure. And I think that's something that we offer is like we just have such an extensive health history. We take the whole body into consideration. Before I offer any kind of treatment, I'm taking a look at your overall health, history of stroke, history of diabetes, history of hypertension. All those things play a role. There's no brick wall from here to here. So It's all connected. I just want to make sure everything we're doing here doesn't negatively affect the rest of the body.
right.
So when we look at root cause, we look at nutrition. Nutrition is huge. pH in the mouth, pH in the body is really important. Sleep is really important. A lot of patients come in with broken teeth because they grind their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And like obviously aesthetics is a concern. If you're a grinder, your teeth went from being like big, beautiful teeth, and now they're small, jaggedy teeth. And that's from grinding. Well, why are you grinding? Do we just give you a night guard to stop from the damage on the teeth, or do we figure out why you're actually grinding? And we're able to do a lot of that, which is great.
Now, did you go that direction because you felt like there was a vacancy there, like there was a need for that, like maybe medical care providers like just weren't addressing those things? So
I think I just found it fascinating that there is a root cause. Like, I think we just take, the Band-Aid on the symptom at face value, like this is the best that we have, and then come to find out, like there's actually better.
Yeah.
So that really fascinated me. In my field, like we would see kids, who grind their teeth a lot, and we were just always taught that that's something that they'll grow out of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, come to find out, grinding could be a symptom of lack of oxygen while they're sleeping.
Really?
Yeah. So, once I heard that, I just had to dive into that and figure out, is that real?
Mm-hmm.
So I did a little residency last year related to that, and it's just been amazing to all the different things I've learned and that I could apply.
Yeah.
And it's great because it's very collaborative. I'm not doing things by myself. I'm using a team. I'm using ENTs. I'm using an orthodontist at a young age. I'm using a myofunctional therapist. And we all come together for like the good of the patient, the child. the adult, whoever.
That's awesome.
It's so great.
Sounds like a big undertaking too.
It is, because, it's new in dentistry.
Yeah.
But it's highly recognized. It's part of the ADA's like mission statement or whatever with what we should be doing. We should be screening for these sleep disordered breathing issues, especially in children. Because if you can correct this in children, then you are hopefully preventing sleep apnea down the line.
Right.
And there's a lot we can do with growing jaws, especially with orthodontics. I mean, my daughter is a great example. We put her in orthodontics early because of her breathing, essentially. And that I felt like that was being manifest like in her behavior and things like that. So
Yeah.
we got on that early. It's been amazing.
I have a slightly related question. Is it normal? So Tori's had like a loose tooth for like I want to say a year, not a year, like a couple months now.
Okay.
And it's still just hanging on. It's like
okay.
cliff. It's like Stalloning it, just like hanging from the cliff, just like won't let go. And she has an oral aversion, right, from treatment.
Right.
So it's just very, very difficult. But like, do kids ever choke on their teeth like when they come out?
I have not heard of that, but
When they eat it, it doesn't digest, right? So
yeah. I have not seen that before
yeah,
or heard of it. So I don't know.
like, but it's normal for them to like
Sometimes.
God, because now she has
She doesn't want to wiggle it.
she doesn't want to wiggle it. And
Yeah.
like I tried and tried and tried.
Give her an apple.
Well, she doesn't eat.
Oh, yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
completely G-tube.
Yeah.
So anything like mouth wise, like she's just now taking sips of water.
Wow.
So it's like her teeth are fine because she doesn't use them,
Yeah.
right? But there's probably a benefit to using your teeth too. And one of those is like they can fall out when you're using them, but she doesn't use them. So they're just like hanging out. And she has
Yeah.
like 3 of them now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough.
And I mean, just going back to what you said about there's a benefit to using your teeth. Yes, like the muscle, strengthening of the muscles in the jaws. That's like, sorry, not to get back on it, but I just really love like
The immune system thing.
the airway and breathing and the development of kids' jaws. We're seeing a lot of kids with like smaller jaws because they're not like they're eating really soft foods. They're having like pouch food. It's like not texture and everything's pureed so much. So like they're not using their muscles. They're not using their tongue, their jaws. So like things are supposed to grow because of your tongue and everything. And
It's weird, like thinking about that, like the things we do, like culturally, like over time, like types of foods that we eat, like how it changes, like different like things, like generationally, or even like I think we're all gonna have like really massive buff thumbs, because all we do is text and like be on our phones. But yeah, no, it's interesting because you get to see it like the actual development of the human face.
Yeah. I like the development of it. I didn't know that I would like it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I really love dentistry as much as I do right now. Because early on, I was just like, oh God, like I cannot believe I have to do this for the next 20, 30 years. But now I just love it.
Well, I think you're like me in the fact of like, just because you're doing this thing, like doesn't mean there's not like infinite amounts of avenues you can take within that thing.
Right.
And I always said it's all about just like going at it 100 miles per hour. And then if you feel like jumping on this, freeway and going that way, then do that 100 miles per hour. Like, so you can never really get bored. If you get bored, it's your own fault, basically, because there's always something. Everything's very, very interesting. It's like the example of like, if you're sitting there staring at a rock through the eyes of somebody who just sees it as just a rock, and you're bored. Well, that's one thing, but there's some people that study rocks and they're like, this is amazing, so it just depends on like, how interested are you in the rock? It's not the rock's fault.
Right.
So like and I think that's what makes somebody good at their job. It's like, it's not just dentistry. It's like, no, this is a really big deal and this is very involved and there's a lot of things going on. Let me show you the world of dentistry. That's what people, I think that's what brings fulfillment to you.
Yeah.
It also brings value to the other people.
Yeah. Not everyone's ready to hear that message though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you can see who's like on board, and it's just like, wow, like I didn't know. And then you'll see the other side where it's like, yeah, I came in for a cleaning.
Yeah.
Like, why are we talking about my sleep?
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, sorry.
Right.
Let's clean your teeth.
No, I would get that all the time as a trainer, where
Uh-huh.
they would come in for a workout, and I would have to say, like, hey, this workout isn't going to do anything for you.
Sure.
Like, I mean, we can do it, and it's going to be good for you, but this isn't the problem.
Right.
The problem is why it took you 20 years to get in here,
Yeah.
and the problem is why, like, you need to be here anyway. So,
Yeah.
and then you start digging in there, and they just,
Yeah.
you might lose a few folks, but
Yeah.
you're gonna extend to somebody who's really going
Yeah.
to
Yeah, definitely.
benefit.
So true.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming in during
Thank you.
this hectic time.
This was fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, and your hair looks good with the headphones, and everything worked out.
We could talk about my hair for a minute.
Yeah?
You know, I follow the curly girl method.
I
Just
don't know what
wanted
that
to
is.
give a shout out to all the curly girls out there.
What's a curly girl? Is that a thing?
Yeah, so when you have naturally curly hair,
Uh-huh.
you usually like straighten it.
I saw you look at my hair when you said that. That's funny because like you had to check to see if it was curly.
So I've been like curly
It's
for
just thin
over a
now.
year now, and I'm following this method to like bring out my natural curls and like make them look good, and I love it.
You're
And
embracing
I'm embracing the curls, and so many people are now, and I think it's great.
Well, if there's one thing that COVID's brought us, it's more curls in our hair. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
I
Brad.
appreciate it.